Hollywood isn't always about glitz and glamour. Some stars trade red carpets for prison jumpsuits. From blockbuster icons to TV fan favorites, these actors went from the big screen to behind bars. And trust me, their real-life drama is wilder than anything they've ever filmed. What landed them in a cell? Shocking scandals, jaw-dropping crimes, and a downfall no script could have predicted. Buckle up, because this list is about to take a dark turn. Take a moment to relax, grab your favorite cup of tea or coffee, and enjoy this video with us. Jussie Smollett's bizarre hoax. You probably remember Jussie Smollett as Jamal Lyon from Empire, but in 2019, he became famous for something else, a wild police report that quickly unraveled. On January 29, 2019, Smollett claimed he was attacked by two masked men in Chicago who allegedly beat him while shouting racial and homophobic slurs. He also said they doused him with an unknown liquid and tied a noose around his neck, all while declaring their support for Donald Trump. But things didn't add up. A month later, Smollett was charged with filing a false police report, and after surrendering to authorities, his case took a bizarre turn. By March 2019, prosecutors dropped all charges after he agreed to 16 hours of community service and forfeited his $10,000 bond. Public backlash was immediate, with accusations of favoritism and leniency leading to a new investigation. In December 2021, Smollett was indicted again, and this time he was found guilty on 5 of 6 counts. On March 10, 2022, he was sentenced to 150 days in jail, 2.5 years probation, a $25,000 fine, and ordered to pay over $120,000 in restitution to the city of Chicago. Zach Avery, Hollywood's conman. You might have seen Zach Avery in indie flicks like Last Moment of Clarity, The White Crow, and Trespassers. But let's be real, his most blockbuster-level performance wasn't on screen. It was in real life, where he ran a massive Ponzi scheme that fooled investors out of millions. Between 2014 and 2019, Horowitz convinced people, including his own friends and family, to pour money into his film company, One in Capital LLC. He claimed he was securing distribution deals with Netflix and HBO and promised sky-high returns. The reality? Neither Netflix nor HBO had ever heard of him. Instead, he used money from new investors to pay off earlier ones while funding an ultra-lavish lifestyle, including a $6 million mansion. The truth caught up with him in April 2021, when he was arrested and charged for masterminding a $690 million Ponzi scheme. He pleaded guilty, and on February 14, 2022, the Hollywood scam artist was handed a 20-year federal prison sentence. Shannon Richardson's deadly setup. You might blinked and missed Shannon Richardson on The Walking Dead, but in real life, she played the lead role in a crime straight out of a political thriller. Back in 2013, Shannon and her husband, Nathan Richardson, were in the middle of a messy divorce. Instead of handling it like a normal person, she cooked up a next-level revenge plan, framing her husband for a bioterror attack. Her method? Mailing Riken-laced letters to then-President Barack Obama, New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg, and Mark Glaze, the director of Mayors Against Illegal Guns. It didn't take long for the FBI to catch on. Arrested in June 2013, Shannon confessed to making and mailing the letters, fully aware they contained a deadly toxin. But in a desperate move, she claimed Nathan made her do it. The feds weren't buying it. She took a plea deal, dodging multiple charges, but still got convicted for manufacturing and possessing a biological weapon. Her sentence? 18 years in federal prison and a $367,222 fine in restitution. Today, she's locked up in Fort Worth, Texas, with a release date set for November 18, 2028. Safe to say, this Walking Dead extra is spending a lot of time behind bars. Joshua Duggar's fall from grace. For years, Joshua Duggar was the clean-cut face of 19 Kids and Counting, the ultra-conservative reality show that ran for 7 years until its abrupt cancellation in 2015. As the eldest of Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar's massive brood, he was supposed to be the model's son. But behind the wholesome family image, dark secrets were lurking. Josh had already faced molestation allegations, some involving his own family members, before things took an even more disturbing turn. In May 2019, authorities discovered that he had knowingly received illicit materials involving minors. On April 29, 2021, he was arrested and thrown behind bars. He later secured bail, but with strict conditions, limited contact with his 6 underage children, only under his wife's supervision, an ankle monitor, no internet access, and a ban on entering any home with firearms. Then came the chilling revelation. Homeland Security Special Agent Gerald Faulkner described the content found on Josh's computer as being in the top 5 worst cases he had ever seen. On December 9, 2021, a jury found Duggar guilty, and he now faces up to 20 years in federal prison and a $250,000 fine, with sentencing set for April 5, 2022. Allison Mack's dark secret. Remember Chloe Sullivan from Smallville? She was Clark Kent's ride or die, but off-screen, Allison Mack had a whole other identity, one that landed her in federal prison. In 2006, as Smallville entered its 6th season, Mack got involved with NXIVMA's so-called self-improvement group that turned out to be a sex cult. She was introduced to the organization by co-star Kristen Kruk, who left before things took a sinister turn. But Mack? She went all in, rising through the ranks and recruiting women into what they thought was an empowerment group. In reality, it was a branding, blackmail, and abuse operation run by NXIVME's leader, Keith Rainier. Women were forcibly branded inside Mack's home, their skin burned with initials that secretly stood for Allison Mack and Keith Rainier. She helped manipulate and control victims, convincing them to submit under the guise of growth. But in April 2018, the law caught up with her. Arrested on sex trafficking, forced labor, and conspiracy charges, she took a plea deal in 2019. On June 30, 2021, she was sentenced to 3 years in prison, probation, 1,000 hours of community service, and a $20,000 fine. Today, the former Smallville star is serving her time at Dublin Federal Correctional Institution in California, a long way from her days in Metropolis. If you liked this video, leave a 1 in the comments. Otherwise, let me know with a 0. I really appreciate your feedback. Michael Jace's Deadly Jealousy. You probably remember Michael Jace as Officer Julian Lowy from The Shield, holding it down for 89 episodes. But off-screen, his real-life story turned into something far darker. On the evening of May 19, 2014, Jace was at home, convinced his wife, April, was seeing another man. Instead of confronting her, he waited with a gun in hand. When she walked through the door, he fired, fatally ending her life. Then, in a chillingly calm move, he called 911. When asked how they could assist, his response, "I shot my wife." Jace confessed immediately, claiming it wasn't premeditated, but the jury wasn't buying it. He was charged with second-degree murder, found guilty, and on June 10, 2016, sentenced to 40 years to life. Today, the former TV star is serving his time at Cochran State Prison, a long way from Hollywood. Danny Masterson's Hollywood freefall. For years, Danny Masterson was best known as Stephen Hyde on That 70s Show and later as Jameson Rooster Bennett on The Ranch. But by 2017, his career was in freefall, and not because of bad acting. In March 2017, 4 women came forward with serious allegations against Masterson. He denied everything, calling the claims bogus, but Netflix wasn't buying it. By December 5, 2017, they fired him from the ranch, announcing production would continue without him in early 2018. After 3 years of investigation, Masterson was officially charged in 2020 with assaulting 3 women, a 23-year-old in 2001, a 28-year-old in early 2003, and another 23-year-old in late 2003. His defense? He pleaded not guilty, claiming the women colluded against him. Despite the legal battle, he remained out on a $3.3 million bail. But if convicted, he could be looking at up to 45 years in prison, a long, long way from the basement hangouts of that 70s show. Drew Drexel's fall. Drew Drexel was once the face of American Ninja Warrior, dominating obstacle courses with insane athleticism and even winning season 11. He was so respected that he mentored young hopefuls on American Ninja Warrior Jr. But in 2020, his legacy took a nosedive when he was arrested on serious charges involving a minor. Authorities discovered explicit images in his possession, and the allegations sent shockwaves through the A&W community right as NBC was gearing up to air a new season featuring him front and center. NBC wasted no time cutting ties, releasing a statement calling the charges shocking and disturbing. They made it clear American Ninja Warrior was a family show, and they wouldn't let one contestant overshadow the dedication of so many others. Meanwhile, Drexel was hit with a stack of federal charges, including producing illegal materials, enticing a minor to travel, and using interstate commerce for illicit activities. Since then, he's been fighting unsuccessfully for bail, with every request denied. And if things don't turn around for him, he's looking at 20 years to life behind bars. Jared Fogel's Subway scandal. For years, Jared Fogle was the face of Subway, the guy who dropped 200 pounds on a sandwich diet and became a household name. But behind the wholesome image, a disturbing reality was unfolding. In 2007, journalist and radio host Rochelle Herman Walrand first reported suspicious comments Fogle made about middle school-aged girls. But she didn't stop there. She went undercover for the next 4 years, secretly recording her conversations with him for an FBI investigation. Then, on July 7, 2015, the FBI raided his home, uncovering shocking amounts of illicit material on his computers and phones, along with text messages discussing his crimes. Subway dropped him immediately, cutting all ties that same day. Initially facing up to 50 years in prison, Fogle took a plea deal and was sentenced to 15 years and 8 months, with a minimum of 13 years before parole eligibility. Now, the once beloved Subway pitchman is spending his days behind bars at Inglewood Federal Correctional Institution, a far cry from the sandwich empire he once represented. Harvey Weinstein's empire collapsed. For decades, Harvey Weinstein was an unstoppable force in Hollywood. As the founder of Miramax, he had a hand in blockbusters like Django Unchained, 2012, Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom, 2013, Southpaw, 2015, and The Founder, 2016. He was the guy who made careers, collected Oscars, and wielded immense power. But in October 2017, that empire crumbled overnight. A wave of allegations surfaced, with multiple women accusing Weinstein of harassment, assault, and abuse. He denied everything, but Hollywood didn't. He was fired from his own company, expelled from the Academy, and stripped of his British CBE honor. Even political allies distanced themselves. Then came the legal reckoning. In 2020, Weinstein was convicted and sentenced to 23 years in prison. But that's just round one. With other pending charges, he could be looking at a total of 140 years behind bars. The man who once controlled Hollywood's biggest films now has a very different audience: prison guards and fellow inmates. We really appreciate you sticking around and watching our videos. Leave a 2 in the comments to let us know you're still here with us. Will Hayden's shocking fall? If you remember Sons of Guns, then you know Will Hayden, the gun expert and reality TV star who ruled the Discovery Channel from 2011 to 2014. But his real-life story, it's way darker than anything that aired on TV. In 2014, Hayden was arrested on serious charges involving a juvenile, allegations brought forward by his ex-girlfriend. He claimed it was all a malicious lie, but Discovery Channel wasn't taking any chances. They cut ties immediately, leading to Sons of Guns getting canceled. Then, things took an even darker turn. His eldest daughter came forward with her own accusations, alleging years of abuse. As more details surfaced, his bail jumped from $200,000 to $350,000. By 2017, the court had heard enough. Hayden was found guilty and handed down a sentence so severe it barely seemed real: 3 life sentences, plus 40 extra years. Now, the former reality star is spending the rest of his life behind bars, his legacy forever tainted, his gun shop long gone, and Sons of Guns just a distant memory. Amy Locane's wild ride. Remember Melrose Place? That 90s soap dripping in scandal? Amy Locane played Sandy Harling in Season 1, but her real-life story is way messier than anything that show ever scripted. On June 27, 2010, Amy was speeding 53 mph in a 35 zone when she barreled toward Fred Seaman, a driver slowly easing into his driveway at just 3 mph. The impact was catastrophic, claiming the life of Seaman's wife. Amy was way over the legal alcohol limit, nearly 3 times over. In 2013, she was sentenced to 3 years for vehicular homicide and assault by auto. She served her time and walked free in June 2015. But just when she thought it was over, the legal system had other plans. In 2016, a New Jersey appeals court decided her sentence was too light. Fast forward 3 years, and she was hit with a 5-year sentence, but remained free on appeal. Then came the final twist. In 2020, the court ruled again, bumping her time behind bars to 8 years. Turns out, leniency doesn't last forever. Skylar DeLeon's chilling crime. You might vaguely remember Skylar DeLeon from a small role in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, 1994. But her real-life story is far more twisted than anything on that show. In 2004, retired probation officer Thomas Hawks and his wife Jackie were looking to sell their 55-foot yacht, well-deserved, after years of sailing the Pacific. They wanted to settle down in Arizona to be closer to their grandchild. Enter Skylar DeLeon, who responded to their ad. Initially skeptical, the Hawks warmed up to DeLeon after she showed up with her then-wife Jennifer and their child, making it seem like a legitimate transaction. But on November 15, 2004, Thomas and Jackie were last seen sailing out of the harbor with DeLeon. The yacht returned. They did not. Authorities later uncovered a horrifying truth. DeLeon and accomplices forced the couple to sign over ownership of the yacht, tied them to an anchor, and threw them overboard alive. Prosecutors argued DeLeon was motivated by financial gain, with defense attorneys claiming the money was intended for sex reassignment surgery. In 2009, DeLeon was found guilty and sentenced to death. While awaiting execution, she legally changed her gender in 2019, now going by Schuyler Preciosa DeLeon. But no name change can erase the horrific crimes that landed her on death row. I'd love to know what you want to learn next. Share your thoughts in the comments, and I'll answer them in the next video.